Hello and welcome to Blush, the world's first wellness show that's actually entertaining. I'm Hiva and I quit law so I can help you look and feel your best. Together we get into food, nutrition, all the latest wellness trends, but we also laugh, get silly, drop a few F-bombs and go on a million tangents. So if that sounds like your vibe, we're about to be best friends.
Happy Tuesday! I miss you guys. I feel like we haven't had this kind of time in so long because I guess I've recorded 2 Blush Kitchen episodes since the last time I recorded one of these, and I was sick. And before I get into anything else, I have to sincerely apologize to anyone who's watching on video. My dog shit appearance is due to the fact that I literally have a fever, but as a consummate professional, I'm here, I'm showing up, I'm actually so excited to record. But there's something fucking wrong with me, and I'm sharing this in case anyone has any clue, like anyone's been through something like this. So I had a sinus infection, right? But for even like 2 weeks before that, basically it's been almost 2 months now that my HRV is like so low. It is so low. It's like corpse low. Okay. It is just a smidge above a deceased person's HRV. Like, it is so low, and usually your HRV is low if you really get really, really bad sleep, or if you've been drinking, or you're like extremely stressed. I haven't had any of these factors, so I don't understand why it's been so chronically low. And yeah, I just have not been feeling 100%. I feel like my sinuses are getting much better. I'm still trying to stay on top of that. I'm still neti pot and stuff because I do think that that's a factor. I'm terrified that there's something that I'm not seeing. Like there's some I'm running some kind of infection somewhere that I'm not aware of, or I have mono or something. You know what I mean? I'm like, what could be going on that I'm missing? Because when I say my HRV's been under 20 most days for the past 2 months, that's shockingly low. It's really, really, really bad. I don't know how to put into words how low that is. It's really, really low. It's really not normal. Basically, I have the resilience of a fruit fly right now. I just could collapse at any moment. So yeah, something's not right. I don't know what it is, and I just kind of don't really give a shit. And not I don't really give a shit. I care a lot, but I have life to do. So we're going to record here today. Hopefully I'll be able to string together a few sentences in a somewhat reasonable manner. I did have a coffee today. Wait, actually, you guys know the coffee drink that I'm obsessed with? I made it on a Blush Kitchen episode recently. It was in the egg episode. It was in the most recent Blush Kitchen episode. And you guys know my cacao drink that I'm obsessed with. So I kind of combined them. Well, not really. I mean, I didn't use any of the spices. So basically I did espresso, cacao powder, maca powder, lion's mane. I bloomed that and then mixed it with the soy milk, and then I did the coconut water situation. It's like a mocha kind of vibe. It is so fucking good. I had that this morning so that I'd be able to kind of show up here in some fashion. I also had extra creatine just to, just give me a little extra boosty boost, as we know from last month's Hot or Not, right? We talked about macrodosing creatine. Wait, I'm so excited to do a Hot or Not, and the trends are really, really good. But yeah, so, I'm just trying to kind of counteract whatever the fuck's going on. I was up from 1 till 6 a.m. last night. And then at 6 a.m., I was like, okay, I could either get ready to go to solid core or I could skip it and try to get some sleep. And thank God I did that. And I was actually able to fall asleep at 6 a.m. And I was able to get a couple of hours of sleep, which were so needed. I mean, I felt like a psychopath between 1 to 6 a.m. And it's all because I was getting so hot, which I guess the fever really explains why I was feeling like that. I mean, I kept getting up and like walking around the apartment. I was truly like a lunatic in the middle of the night. But yeah, your girl's not doing very well, and I have no makeup on and my hair is dirty, and I just like overall kind of am giving like Annabelle, if like you were to drag Annabelle through a sewer and then like throw her in the Gulf after the oil leak and then take her out again. That's kind of what I look like for anyone who's listening on audio only. But yeah, so I've started getting manicures, but we'll talk about that on a later episode. They are chipping though. And that has nothing to do with anything. So should we just get into the episode? Because by the sounds of it, if I'm left to my own devices, things could get really out of hand here. Now, the printer continues to glitch for no one but me. But quite frankly, I'm like too sick and too out of it to have emailed my notes to Ozzy and ask him to print them out. I really did think about it. So I just figured we're just going to phone it up for today. Hopefully we can get this shit under lock for future episodes. Also, like truly, if anyone's gone through like a health thing like this and has any idea what it could be, please reach out. I don't really have any other symptoms other than shockingly low HR. You know what I feel like every single day is like, that feeling before you get a cold where you're like, ooh, I feel like I'm about to get a cold. I've been feeling like that for 2 months, basically. I don't know why. Like this morning I woke up with like full body aches. Sometimes I wake up with a bit of a sore throat, but not like, and that's not like, that could just be like the mouth tape coming off and me mouth breathing. So that in and of itself, I'm not too concerned about. Sinuses still bother me a little bit. I am also meant to get my period like any fucking second. I think it's going to be fully synced with the full moon, which I love for me. Ever since I found out witches get their period with the full moon, it's all I've aspired for in this lifetime, and it's completely happened. And I've like truly never been more proud of myself. Like, thank you so much to my witchy ancestors who made this happen. Also, I really want to do an episode on like witchcraft and magic and stuff. So if that interests you, let me know. Hopefully that doesn't offend you, but I do feel like I've like very successfully offended all of our religious community a few episodes ago. So I feel like that's no longer a concern. I'm currently, as we speak, making a vegan version of a faux broth. I actually for a second was like, should I just make this a Blush Kitchen episode and make this while I do it? But then I was like, no, not yet. So I can literally smell the fumes of that coming into the studio, and I'm just like, the chair is about to get wet. The chair also could get bloody at any second because I could start bleeding any second. The other way I would describe how I've been feeling for 2 months is like I've had PMS for 2 months, just like not like the day before your period PMS, but like it's been going on so long that I really am getting kind of suspicious as to what could be happening here. Okay, anyway, so the first trend we want to get into, actually, like this has been on my radar for a couple of Hot or Not episodes now, but there just hadn't been time to get into it. So I'm so happy we're getting into it now. It's called fiber maxing. So per usual, this is just kind of like a normal thing that people do that then on TikTok people give this like crazy name to, and now it becomes a wellness trend. Like, remember rebounding from a few years ago? It's like, bitch, you bought a trampoline. You bought a fucking trampoline. Like, I had one when I was 5, was I ahead of the wellness trends? Probably. Actually, that tracks. Anyway, fiber maxing is this idea of just, it's eating fiber. Okay, it's fucking eating fiber. Like, why we call it fiber maxing, I don't entirely understand. As far as I can tell, there's no like specific number that people are trying to hit. It's just this idea of like deliberately trying to push up your fiber intake every day. I guess like some people are trying to exceed guideline targets, but that is kind of important because in the US, most people are getting roughly half the amount of fiber that we're supposed to be getting. And this one is fascinating to me. Only 4% of adults are meeting adequate intake. 4%. Like, that's really bad. Like, we should spend more time talking about that, especially given how important fiber is. 4%, only 4% of us are doing it. Like, what the fuck? Can we stop learning, like, the area of a circle in elementary school and start learning more about fiber? Like, could we spend a little bit less time on the Renaissance and a little bit more time on how to not fucking die because we don't know how to eat vegetables? Like, I mean, just some ideas for educators in this country. Anyway, so yeah, the idea is, and what people claim, like a lot of the claims around it are GLP-1 adjacent. So they claim like that it really helps with gut health, which like, duh, like literally, it's like, that's kind of like saying like, wow, drinking water really helps you get hydrated. Like, thank you so much for these groundbreaking hot takes over here. And the other claim is that it has like GLP-1 adjacent appetite control, which we will get into. So, I mean, let's just get into it now. Basically, like, there is some science there, right? So, specifically with soluble fiber, it feeds short chain fatty acids, and those short chain fatty acids go into the pancreas and they increase our GLP-1 and another hormone called PYY, which does show less hunger in human trials. So yeah, I mean, there is something there. Obviously, like, is it as intense as a pharmaceutical drug? No. Usually things that are not pharmaceutical drugs are not as intense as pharmaceutical drugs. That's why pharmaceutical drugs exist, you know? Like that, you know, that's the, but that is, I mean, like, we have GLP-1 in our body, and the way that we increase GLP-1 in our body naturally is via eating soluble fiber. So like, there's there. And obviously, like, fiber in general feeds the beneficial bacteria in our gut. We have a lot of fucking bacteria in our gut, and they all feed on different things, like sugar. There are certain bacteria that feed on sugar. Those bacteria, less helpful, but the really beneficial ones feed on fiber. So it is like really, really good for gut health. And then everything else that gut health controls: skin, mood, cognition. I mean, you fucking name it, you know, like, we all kind of know. Anyway, let's see. Oh, here's another thing. I should stop. I'm clearly not equipped to do this. Higher fiber intake consistently links to lower cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and all-cause mortality. And this, like, remember when we were growing up and oatmeal packages would always have like American Heart Association stickers on them, and there was a lot of like, eat oatmeal for your heart health. That's where that came from, because oats are a very good source of beta glucans, which is a type of fiber or prebiotic fiber that feeds beneficial bacteria in your gut. So like, that's where that connection comes from, for example. And obviously, you know that eating fiber is good for like helping eliminate and things like that. But also, on the other hand, it can be really good if you're diarrhea prone, especially soluble fiber. My dog actually recently had an incident where we had to take her to the hospital because she was like diarrheaing blood because she was on 3 weeks of 2 different types of antibiotics. Oh, I told you guys how she had 2 UTIs at the same time. So she was on 2 different types of antibiotics literally for 3 weeks. And at the end of the, like, right after her antibiotics ended, we were actually at the US Open, and she was staying with her like amazing fucking sitter, and she just started like shitting blood. And so she took her to the hospital, and we met her there. And the hospital prescribed her psyllium husk. Like literally it was just like, just give her psyllium husk. And I mean, she gave a specific amount, but to bind her up and to strengthen her gut after all, like the antibiotics had fucked with it so hard. So that, like, that's kind of cool, right? So I mean, that's the thing about natural remedies, is that they tend to help both ends of the spectrum, whereas like pharmaceuticals tend to be more for like one end or the other, if that makes sense. Cool. Now the one thing with this is you really don't what concerns me about a term like fiber maxing. Oh my God, Sam is coming. I think she wants to podcast. Sam, do you want to podcast with us? Do you miss being a working doggy? You miss being a podcast co-host? Does she want to come podcast? Is that what's going on?
She's backing it up. She's put here in my folder.
Do you want to come? Do you want to come podcast?
She's scared.
Oh, because of the lights? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, the lights get a little scary. Oh, sweet girl. Yeah, she wanted to come, but I think she got freaked out of all the lights. If you guys only knew the light setup, like it's on. I'm scared of the lights too. That was my green juice. Okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So what really scares me about the term fiber maxing is like, I'm so happy that people finally fucking want to eat more fiber. I feel like I've been saying this shit for like 6 years, just like banging my head against the wall, being like, we need to eat more fiber. But what scares me about quote unquote fiber maxing is like, we should not be abruptly increasing our fiber from like 0 to 100 overnight. Like that's not going to benefit anyone. Like that's really alarming and it's not good. And like, we have to have moderation. You have to go low. You have to go slow. And you really, really, really have to hydrate very intensely. So I always recommend increasing your fiber by like a gram or two every few days, if that makes sense. Like if you're really measuring it, but just like be intuitive with it. You know what I mean? Like if you're currently eating like no fruits and vegetables, don't suddenly start eating like 4 cans of beans a day. Like it's gonna be problems. Start with a quarter can, and then after a few days you could make it a half can. You know what I mean? Just like go low, go slow. And then the other thing that really, really helps also, like beans are amazing. Psyllium husk is great. I am so vehemently against fiber supplements. Like you're not getting the whole food benefits. I think that it's so easy to go overboard and then cause problems on the back end. So don't do that. But also like beans, like have beans and stuff like that too. And like whole grains and things like that, like rye, whatever, that amazing, go off. But also have a lot of really juicy forms of fiber like papaya, pineapple, melons, fresh figs, stuff like that. Like these fruits that have a lot of fiber, but also are very, very juicy because they'll help lubricate things so that things keep moving. And then with the like less juicy forms of fiber, like the whole grains and the beans and stuff, always pair them with healthy fats. Like avocado is an amazing healthy fat to pair. Again, or like chia seeds, like always soak the chia seeds. Like it's just going to keep things moving a lot smoother. Like fiber and hydration and lubrication should always be a package deal. So yeah, the verdict on that one though is hot. It's like, it's hot as fuck. Like it's as hot as my body was last night, you know, just like fucking on fire. Okay. The AC is out of control. That's how hot this one is. Okay. Moving on to the next wellness trend. Oh my God, this one was fucking funny. So, basically the trend is eating dinner early. Now I picked this one because I saw this article. The title of the article was like, Gen Z is eating dinner early because they're losers or something. And I was like, okay, this is amazing. Also, like literally that day, I think I ate dinner at 4 p.m. So If they're losers, I don't know what that makes me. Like I'm a new category below loser that I didn't even know existed. But it's really interesting. So restaurant data shows a real shift in eating earlier. OpenTable reports an 11% growth in 6 p.m. bookings year over year. UK hospitality platform Zonal pegs 6:12 p.m. as the new average dining time. Yelp previously noted that 2 to 5 p.m. seatings doubled versus 2019. And American Time Use survey data shows the peak dinner window clusters around 6 to 6:30 p.m. nationally, with a 6:19 p.m. peak. Fascinating. And people are surmising that Gen Z is it's a lot about Gen Z. Like, it's interesting that we're not blaming it on boomers as we would think. Now, I don't entirely know where the link to Gen Z comes in, to be completely honest with you. Like, I haven't found any data on this, but I know that Gen Z in general is a lot more wellness minded, drinks less, like wants to sleep earlier, things like that. So there is like a connection there, and there are no entire like claims on this, but there are a lot of health benefits to eating earlier. Like, I'm such a huge supporter of eating earlier. In fact, I used to have pretty severe insomnia issues that have gotten much better, last night notwithstanding. And I actually attribute like 99% of my insomnia going away to eating earlier. Like, it makes a huge fucking impact on your sleep. Let me go back to my notes. It can reduce acid reflux. It can improve sleep quality. And eating closer to bedtime generally worsens glycemia. It hasn't been super studied. There's mixed direct random control trials on meal clock only, and then there's some like metabolic things. So basically it shows that having like a time restricted eating window that is earlier shows better weight loss and improved insulin sensitivity, improved blood pressure, versus eating the same number of calories over a longer window that is later, basically. And I actually really do believe that if you're going to do intermittent fasting, I think a lot of us think of intermittent fasting as like skipping breakfast or skipping breakfast and lunch. But I actually think if you're going to do intermittent fasting, you should like eat like whatever your eating window is, like move it all the way up. That way you have fuel, and then you're burning off that fuel throughout the rest of the day. So like, you're not like, for example, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I just burped. I hope the mic didn't pick it up. That was so unladylike, and I actually have a really hard time burping. I feel like I probably told you guys like 6 billion times, but I have a really hard time burping, to the point where I usually have to burp myself like a baby. And I often stop in solid core and I'll like start burping myself. And one time the instructor was like, hey, what was that weird thing you did in the middle of class? Are you okay? I was like, oh yeah, I was burping myself. Yeah. You know, like a little baby. Anyway. What is wrong with me? Okay, so let's say you're in intermittent fasting, and let's say you have an 8-hour eating window. So you could have that eating, or like, let's make it a slightly smaller eating window, just, for shits and gigs. So let's say you have a 6-hour eating window. That's like a pretty common one for people who do intermittent fasting. So you could have your 6-hour window be, let's say, from like 2 to 8 p.m., right? So you're not eating anything till 2 p.m. And then like you have like a lunch at 2 p.m. and then you have a dinner at 6 p.m. or something like that, right? Or whatever it may be. I don't know. If instead you were to shift that window to like 10 to 4, like, you would be so much better off. Like, you're not spending the first like half plus of your day like fucking hungry and irritable, and then like you just start like binging like crazy. Instead, you start eating as soon as you actually get hungry, or you could move it up even earlier, you know what I mean? And then like by the time you're done with that window, like you should be pretty full for the rest of the night, you know what I mean? Like I really do think if you're going to do intermittent fasting, that's the way it should be done. Now, so like overall, just like from a physical health perspective, like all signs point to like hot for this trend. But this article that was like Gen Z's eating dinner earlier because they're losers or whatever did bring up a really interesting counter argument, which is just about like, yeah, sure, like this is healthier, yada, 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 but it's like, it's less fun. Like, it's just like less fun. Like these kids need to loosen up a little, like go out and have a late dinner with your friends. Like see how the Spanish are living, like go out, have a little fun, like live a little, like, you know? So just from a pure health perspective, I do think that this is a really hot trend, but I would really caution like being really rigid with it. Like if, you know, if your friends want to go out like at an 8 p.m., like I used to be the type of psycho who's like, I'm not going to eat at 8 p.m. like, and then I'd like go out to dinner and like literally eat nothing and just like sit at the table and be a wet blanket and be like so lame and it's not fun for anyone. But like, you know what I mean? Like you could still like have a nap, like have a bite. Like I just think we all need to loosen up a little bit, I guess is the point that I'm trying to make. Like I just think like all of these rigid rules, like it's amazing to strive to eat dinner early. I think we should all strive to eat dinner early, but I also think like we should all, I guess this is a point that I come back to a lot. So I'm sorry if I'm like constantly repeating myself. There are things that are physically worse for you, but they foster deeper connection, and the emotional benefits of that, I think, outweigh the physical harms. I think for a lot of people, alcohol can be like that. Not everyone. Some people like really struggle with balance and moderation with it. And for those people, it's probably better to abstain altogether. But for a lot of people who have a really healthy relationship with alcohol, sometimes having a drink with a friend just allows you to loosen up a little bit and share a little bit more and like laugh a little bit more. And like, yes, that alcohol is literal poison for your body, but the emotional benefits of having that moment of connection so far outweigh that poison to the body. And I think the same thing is true here. Like, yes, eating later means that you don't digest as well. It means your sleep is more disrupted. It means you're probably going to have a harder time lowering your resting heart rate throughout the night. So your sleep's going to be like less fulfilling. Like it affects everything. It really, really does. I'm not going to lie to you. But if it means that you go and like have a really fun night with your friends and are able to like be a part of it, like that community aspect, the benefits that you're going to get from that are always going to outweigh it. So overall, I would say this trend is pretty hot, with the caveat of like, let's make sure we're all living still. Okay. And this is the last trend we're doing for today because the room is spinning around me at this point. Like, I'm not 100% sure where the camera is anymore. I think I'm looking at it, but who the fuck knows? Because there's also all these lights fucking everywhere. Like I'm blind. Like it's not good. It's not fucking going well. So this one is nuts, by the way. So I heard on TikTok that rosemary oil is clinically proven to be as good as what's it called? Hold on, I wrote it down in my notes. As minoxidil, which is like the active ingredient in Rogaine for hair regrowth. And I was like, that can't possibly be fucking true. But I also immediately ordered rosemary oil for me and Ozzy to have in the house. But I was like, there's no fucking way this is true. But like, what's the harm? We may as well use it, right? And then at the same time, I've also heard of batana oil on TikTok for hair growth and hair purposes. So I was like, let me just lump them together and we'll do research. So rosemary oil is the essential oil from Rosmarinus officinalis. It's now called Salvia rosmarinus. No one gives a fuck. Why am I reading these like Latin names? Literally not one person gives a fuck. And if you're that one person, I'm so sorry I butchered that. So it's rosemary essential oil. It's the essential oil of rosemary. Now, how essential oils are made is actually a science that I don't fully understand because I know it's like pretty complicated. But it's vasodilatory, which means it helps dilate veins, I think. Oh my God. I just went fully blank. I think I had a mini stroke. I think we should call an ambulance. Let's just move right along. It's anti-inflammatory, it's anti-androgenic. And botana oil is an unrefined oil from the American oil palm, rich in oleic acid and with carotenoids and vitamin E. And it's marketed like for hair growth, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So basically the claim is that it's as good as Rogaine, right? So in 2015, there was a randomized control trial that found that rosemary oil was about as effective as 2% minoxidil for androgenic alopecia by hair count change. So androgenic alopecia, my understanding is like when you lose your hair. No, it's like normal like male pattern baldness that also like some women get, but it's far less than it is in men, and that's because of the whole XY chromosome thing, right? By hair count change, I don't fully understand because the brain has left the building. I mean, we're just kind of powering through here. And minoxidil caused more scalp itching. So like by the looks of it, this 2015 study actually does confirm that rosemary oil is as good as Rogaine. But there is one highly important caveat. It's 2% minoxidil, not the stronger over-the-counter 5% minoxidil that is the one that most people use. So it's promising, but it's not like so it seems to be as effective as the weaker version of Rogaine, not the stronger version of Rogaine, the one that most people use. Newer studies continue to cite that trial, blah, blah, blah. A 2025 small randomized control trial using rosemary blends reported improvements, but isn't head-to-head with the 5% minoxidil. And also, apparently, it's like not the most robust study in general. Also, apparently in Matthew McConaughey's memoir, which by the way, I have heard from so many people is a phenomenal celebrity memoir. Like if you're looking to read one, I've never read a celebrity memoir. There is one memoir that I'm kind of curious to read. That's the one by, do you guys know Lee from America? She's kind of like one of the first Instagram influencers. She wrote a memoir that somewhat recently came out. It's called If You Don't Like This, I Will Die, which I think is a really fucking funny title for a book. Like I actually really love it. And it's all about like chronicling the life of an Instagram influencer. Like I actually think that's kind of interesting and I kind of want to read it, but in general, I'm not very into memoirs. And by that, I mean, I haven't read one. So I don't know, maybe if I read them, I would be into them. And people also say the Matthew McConaughey one is phenomenal on audiobook. He narrated it, and obviously he has a very interesting and nice way of speaking. I famously really, really, really dislike audiobooks. I'm not entirely sure why, but I have a very strong aversion to them. It's like I really don't fuck with them. I don't like being read to. And it's like people say like, oh, but you love podcasts. Yeah, that's different. No one's reading to me on a podcast, you know, like people are talking. There's a huge difference between conversation, even if it's a singular podcast where it's just one person's talking. There's a difference between people talking and people reading out loud to you. Like, I don't want people reading out loud to me. I don't know why. I'm not entirely sure what kind of bedtime trauma I had as a child, but I actually, you know what? I don't know that like my parents read to me as a baby. I don't know if that's something Iranian families do or did back then. I would imagine the modern day ones do. I just have an exceptionally hard time. Oh, I'm sure my dad didn't. Good God. My dad probably didn't even see me until I turned 7. Like, I don't think he even like looked in my direction till I was out of diapers. But I don't know. I have a hard time picturing my mom reading bedtime stories to me. I don't. Maybe she did. I'll call her and should I call her right now and put her on the podcast? Wait, should I call her? Wait, I'm gonna call her. It's New York is a what's it called? A single party recording state. I forget what it's called. سلام مامان یه سوال تندی من که بیبی بودم شبا برام کتاب میخوندی؟
بعضی شبا خودت میخواستی آره بیبی قنداقه
I guess بچه دیگه
بچه نه انقدر تو سینه من میگی دیده بخواب
Okay.
یادم میاد براتون قصه میگفتم کتاب نمیخوندم قصه میگفتم برای هر دوتاتون اما سن و سالتون رو راستش بخواید که اصلا یادم نیست
Okay باشه. Okay مرسی.
نه خواهش میکنم هیوا من دیروز رو تریتمنت رو موام کردم
چه خوب. Okay بذار بعدم به زنگ میزنم. Okay
باش
وسط پادکستم actually میاد روی پادکستم. خدافظ. Okay. She said sometimes I would ask her and I was like, as an infant? And she's like, well, no. And she said when I was an infant, I just breastfed 24/7 and that's all I gave a shit about. And then she said sometimes she would like tell us stories like myths and tales, but like not so much the reading. And she's like, but I don't remember like what ages, etc. So yeah. Anyway, why did we get on that bizarre tangent? Okay, my brain has truly left the building. Like actually, like we were talking about hair growth. Why did I go into Matthew McConaughey? Okay, apparently in Matthew McConaughey's memoir he talks about using this like oil, like he said he was balding and he started using this oil and it made his hair come back. And I looked up what that oil was, and I think it has rosemary oil and lavender oil and something else in it. You know what? I should look up what the something else is. I'll ask chat. Hey, what oil did Matthew McConaughey say in his memoir that he put on his hair that like stopped his balding? It's searching the web. Just let's get. Okay. In his memoir, Green Lights, Matthew McConaughey recounts that he battled a baseball-sized bald spot around year 2000, so he shaved his head and began a new routine. What ended up working? Not a prescription drug or transplant, but a topical ointment. He said he rubs it into his scalp once a day for 10 minutes, describing it as manual labor, and notably, no propecia, no nothing. On Live with Kelly and Ryan, he revealed the name of this ointment, Regenix. McConaughey emphasizes he's been using the same product for over 2 decades and attributes his hair recovery solely to that consistent manual application. Okay, well, what the fuck is in Regenix? What is in Regenix? Okay, I don't care about the multi-step system. Okay, there we go. The essential scalp protectant, the one McConaughey likely referred to, has Okay, never mind. No rosemary oil. But it seems to have witch hazel, chamomile, rosehip, burdock, argan oil, pomegranate seed, and more. Wait. I thought Regenix had rosemary oil in it. No? I could have sworn I looked it up before and it was like rosemary oil, lavender oil. Oh, okay. So the deep follicle cleanser has rosemary leaf extract, but not the scalp protectant. But I guess like we don't entirely know. This is also from ChatGPT. Like, why are we trusting it? Anyway. let's scroll up. Okay, let me go back to my notes. Sorry. So yeah, there's evidence that rosemary essential oil is good for hair regrowth. Now let's move on to the botana oil. So there are no clinical trials showing regrowth, but there are benefits on like conditioning and scalp barrier support and less hair breakage and more shiny hair and shit like that. So like it seems to be a good thing for hair in general, whereas like rosemary oil, there's like legit evidence that it's as good as 2% minoxidil. And a lot of people can't tolerate minoxidil. So like that's pretty promising. And especially if you're the type of person who's like, I don't even know if I have hair loss, but like, you know what I mean? Like rosemary oil is so innocuous, like it's not going to cause any problems. I think it's like, I'm like that. Like, I don't think I've had hair loss really, but like, I may as well fucking put some rosemary oil in my hair. And I have one. Let me know if you want the link. I ordered it on Amazon. There's one and it comes with this top you can put on that has like, it's like a mini comb top. And it actually feels really, really nice putting it in your hair. And it kind of like massages the scalp. So I'd imagine that that's good. But yeah, that's really interesting, isn't it? Anyway, let's move right along to foods that make you blush, which is a segment that we do towards the end of every episode where we talk about foods that have nutrients that support things that we talked about. So the number one food that makes you blush for this episode are lentils. And lentils are a really, really good source of soluble fiber, which like really hits the fiber maxing trend. But they're also rich in various amino acids, which can help with hair because hair is made of keratin, which is a protein. So you need enough amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein. So that's kind of cool. And they're a really good source of iron, which is also critical for hair growth. So I thought that was really interesting. The number two food that makes you blush are pumpkin seeds. And number three is actually oats for the same reason. Both have a lot of fiber, both have protein, but they're also really good sources of zinc, which is also great for hair growth. So I thought that was really fun. And our number four are chia seeds. So chia seeds obviously are really good source of fiber, but they're also a good source of omega-3 fatty acids, which are important for scalp health. Now, the thing with chia seeds is they have ALAs, which is a different type of omega-3s than DHA and EPA, which are more studied to be more absorbable in the human body. It is kind of a controversial subject, though, because I've talked to a lot of scientists who are like, no, actually, we do absorb ALAs quite fine. And then there's some people who are like, no, it needs to be converted to DHA and EPA, and our bodies aren't very good at doing that. And then there was one study I saw years ago that said that people of certain backgrounds are better at converting ALAs into EPA and DHA than other people, and Middle Eastern people were one of those groups. And I always thought that was interesting because like no matter how much fish oil I'd taken before I was vegan and now that I'm vegan, like taking EPA and DHA, I never feel the effects as much as I do from eating flax seeds and chia seeds. So I thought that was really interesting. And then the last food that makes you blush for this episode is sweet potatoes, because they're a good source of biotin, which is important for keratin production. And they're actually rich in fiber too, but they're like a little bit more moist. I especially think they're great when they're steamed. And you know what? We're just going to add another one on for shits and gigs. Kiwi. Kiwi is like super, super hydrating, can keep things moving. Also good source of vitamin C, which helps with collagen production and boosts iron absorption and protects follicles from oxidative stress, all of which can help with hair growth too. And that brings us to the end of the episode, where we like to do a quick gratitude segment where I list 3 things that I'm grateful for. And the intention here is so that you list 3 things that you're grateful for as you're listening. So I am grateful to live so close to Chinatown, where I can just like pop over and get all these like phenomenal Asian ingredients so I can make things like vegan pho. I'm grateful that I have a pot of vegan faux broth waiting for me as soon as I'm done recording here. And I am grateful that I was able to pull it together enough to record this episode. Hopefully it was fucking decent for you guys. I love you guys so much this week and every week. I'm so grateful for you, and there's so much good shit coming up. Love you guys. We will talk next week. Bye.
If you loved that episode as much as I hope you did, make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss a thing, and check out some past episodes while you wait for the new one to drop next week. And until next week, make sure to stay cunty out there.